Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77, and today I got a really good movie that I want to talk to you guys about. This is one I just watched recently, and I really enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and you already know by the name of the video. So let's just go ahead. The movie I'm talking about today is from 2018. It's a horror anthology called American Nightmares. And this is from the writing, directing, producing team of Rusty Cundieff and Darin Scott. Okay, you remember, they've done so far they've done the trilogy of Tales from the Hood films, Fear of Black Hat, many other things. And honestly, you've already heard me say, I love this movie. It's a lot of fun, a great horror anthology. If you love Tales from the Hood, you're definitely going to love this movie. And I could probably go ahead and stop it right there, but, well, I guess it would probably help if I talk about the movie just a little bit. So, but anyway, though, yeah, the movie begins. We have our wraparound segment. We have two guys who are computer hackers, Stuart and Jamal, and basically they're mostly these guys just look at porn. They're pretty much perverts. They have they got like the three computer screens set up, and they're just constantly looking for porn and naked women and things like this. And it is revealed at one point that these guys are hackers and that they've used their computers for, let's just say nefarious means. But meanwhile, while they're looking for their porn, they get interrupted by two characters. Now, the first character is Mr. Malevolent, played by Danny Trejo here. And Danny Trejo, he's awesome in this. If you're a Danny Trejo fan, you're going to love him in this because he's basically like the crypt keeper, I guess, for this type of film. And with him is the Mystic Woman, played by Nichelle Nichols. Yeah, that Nichelle Nichols, Star Trek Nichelle Nichols. And so the two of them are talking, and he's like, do you have stories for me to tell? And she will do magic, and like a magic or an object will appear, and he's like, this story, tells this, or this story tells that. And then, that's basically the wraparound that skirts the entire horror anthology. And then we get into our first story, which is a pretty good story. And in the story, we have Shanika. She's trying to get out of a bad relationship. Her boyfriend, Reggie, he's very abusive, physically, verbally, mentally. I mean, just abusive in every way. He's just a horrible guy. And so she's talking about, she's a little nervous getting out on the dating scene and everything else, but, she does admit she's horny and she needs to get laid. So she's sitting at home and, she's talking to her girlfriend, but then she's sitting at home and she gets an invitation is kind of like a dating profile, kind of like a dating website. And so she looks into it and she finds this guy that she's, Jalen, that she's interested in meeting. Well, so they meet at a fancy restaurant, and he shows up, and to her, he's just stunning. He's gorgeous and everything she wants. And so they sit down and they talk, and they're having great conversation and everything else, and things are getting spicy. And so the two of them go back to I believe it's her place. Yeah, they go back to her place. They have some wild fun, and she's having a great time. But things start to go a little south. And, that's probably going to be about where I'm going to leave it there, because she's having fun with this guy, but then her abusive ex-boyfriend, Reggie, decides to, show up, cause problems, and we'll leave it at that. Okay. That's going to probably, get ready. I'm going to probably say that quite a bit throughout this video. It's like, okay, I'm going to leave it there. That's where we're going to end, because I don't want to, the stories have a lot of great and fun surprises, and I don't want to give any of those away. So there's these fun little twists and turns in pretty much each story. So we have that one. Then we have the next story, which is the prosecutor, and you have Jay Mohr, and he's like a district attorney, but he's trying to run for governor, and he's prosecuted a famous murder case of what was the character's name? Oh God, I'm sorry, I can't remember the character's name, but the actor Eddie Steeples plays a character, and it's like Eddie Steeples. He's an actor I really like. Of course, I've seen him in other movies like Roman and things like that, but I have to admit, to me, he's always going to be Crabman from My Name Is Earl. But yeah, he was also the drug dealer in the movie The Lost. But yeah, it's always awesome to see Eddie Steeples in a movie for me. But like I said, unfortunately, I'm always going to remember him as Crabman from My Name Is Earl. But so anyway, Jay Mohr's character prosecutes him for a murder that he supposedly committed, where he murdered his family. And when he's going to death row, he's going to be executed. And of course, his final wish is that he wants to get revenge on the crooked district attorney, Jay Mohr's character, who put him where he is. And so his last wish is to get revenge on the crooked wannabe governor prosecutor. And even at one point, there's a woman who comes to Jay Mohr's character and tells him, the man is innocent. We need to change, we need to stop the execution and everything. And he's all like, yeah, but he's like, I can make things bad for you. He's that kind of guy, real skeezy type. So anyway, and I'm not going to give anything away as far as the ending goes or anything. And we continue on. Then we get into our third story, which is called White Flight. And this story here, this is very interesting. And that's one of the things, you've heard me say when I reviewed Tales from the Hood 3, I'm going to say it again. One thing I really, really thoroughly enjoy is that both Rusty Cundieff and Darin Scott, these two guys, they are so good at mixing the horror and the social commentary together. And this is going to sound a little crazy, but, once you watch the movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. The story concerns, White Flight concerns a bigoted, racist white cop who, he's just constantly spitting, racist barrages at anybody and everybody pretty much. And he gets a package delivered, and he's, with his, he's like, gung-ho, like over conservative type. And we find out, that he was, as a cop, he's definitely, beat, black people and things like this. He's done some really horrible stuff. And so he decides that he wants to take his wife and his daughter and their little baby. And he gets like I want to say it's a time machine, but it's more like a machine that will take him to another dimension. And so they get in this machine and they transfer to another dimension. And the whole point is he wants to get him and his family away from, people of color. And, you know what that means. So I don't think I really need to explain it. So they go to this alternate dimension, and then they find the small town, and then they're going there, and, you get some good cameos. Rusty Cundieff plays the sheriff, and Dwayne Whitaker plays the gas station attendant, and so on. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces, too, in this movie. So that's one of the fun parts of it as well. You're always going to see some people pop up. Oh my God, that's Vivica Fox. Oh my God, there's this person and that person. So anyway, so they go to this small town, but like I said, you're going to have to watch the movie to understand what I'm talking about. But they get to this small town, and then they find out that the term "no blacks allowed" it really has a completely different meaning, and I'll leave it at that. But I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you find out how the story ends. And let's just say it's gruesome. It's brutal. So anyway, so we get off of that one, and then we go to the next story, which is, I have to say, this one's probably my least favorite story. You know how, like, when you watch a horror anthology, like, some stories are good, some of them, not so much. I would probably have to say this one's probably my least favorite story. It's called The Samaritan. And in this one, you have this young woman, basically, she's like kind of like a call girl, a prostitute, and she's being driven to a job by, what I assume is her pimp. And so they get to this place. You could tell she's nervous. You could tell she really doesn't want to do this. She doesn't want to go. And but her pimp is pretty much making her go. So they get to this place, and then, you see Chris Kattan. And he's, very sickly looking, and he's very, pale and emaciated and everything else. And he's, got like the breathing, he's got like an oxygen tank so he can breathe. And, and the pimp is like, hey man, are you contagious? And, Chris Kattan's character is like trying to tell him, like, cancer is not really contagious. Okay. So, and so, like the pimp, he's like trying to, like, keeps like trying to push him for more money. As well, I said this, but if I knew you were going to be this sick, I would have asked for more. So yeah, if you want to spend time with this woman, you're going to have to give more money and all this. And so Chris Kattan's fine, so he's giving him the money and everything. But he has one specific thing. It turns out that Chris Kattan's character has a bit of a clown fetish. And he says, for this girl to, be with him, he wants her to dress up in a clown outfit. And so she goes in to dress, but the pimp tells her, here's the deal. I'm going to, you go in the room and you dress up and get ready for this guy. And while you're in there, it's like, I'm pretty much going to loot the place. I'm going to see whatever I can find. And, it's like, this guy, if he's got this much money laying around, God knows what else he's got around here. So we can make a killing off this dude. So go in there, do your thing and all this kind of stuff. And so Chris Kattan, goes to get ready and everything. And pretty much, when he goes to get ready, everything just goes to hell. We'll leave it at that. So, and then we get into a very good story in this horror anthology. It's called The Healer. And one thing that's really nice too, like I said, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces in this movie. And one of the ones is, especially if you're a fan from Tales from the Hood, you're going to be really happy because Clarence Williams III makes an appearance again. So it's great to see him in another Rusty Cundieff and Darin Scott film. So it's awesome to see him again. Now the story concerns corrupt. It concerns a corrupt TV evangelist, and he's you can pretty well guess by the title, The Healer, the title of the story. He's one of these TV evangelists. He makes a lot of money by preying on people's disabilities and weaknesses and things like this. And he claims that he can heal the sick. He can heal the disabled and things like this. But of course we find out it's all just a big scam, and he's just he's just a greedy, selfish, horrible person, and he just wants to make money and everything. Well, at one point his character gets abducted by Clarence Williams's character, and he takes him out, and it turns out he takes him in a van, and Clarence Williams explains, my daughter believed in you and she thought you were going to heal her, and you told her that she was healed, but she died very slowly. She died very painfully. She was very sick. And, he's all like, what? He's like, I found out there is some magic in the world. And the preacher, no, there's no magic and all this kind of stuff. And so he's like, well, and the preacher keeps trying, or the evangelist, he keeps trying to sell what he calls Jesus' tears, but it's basically just little bottles with water in it. And, but he's all like, what? He's like, I got an idea. So Clarence Williams, he takes the bottle of Jesus' tears. It's an empty bottle. And it turns out he's got the dead body of his daughter in the back of the van. And so he puts it up to her eye, and her tears go into, he's like, well, it's not Jesus' tears, but they'll do. And so he makes the evangelist drink it. And so he does. And then he's all like, now I made you a real healer. And which that goes completely off the rails. That goes, whoa, okay. But yeah, it's got a good ending to it. I almost forgot. There is a segment that I forgot. I believe that one comes before The Healer. And this one is called Hate Radio. And this one here is very interesting because you have kind of like a shock jock, kind of like a Rush Limbaugh type almost. And he gets on, and on his radio show, this guy's just, shit talking women. He's just, oh, women are horrible and they're stupid. And, if women had any brains, they know when to keep their mouths shut, and women need to know their place and all this and yada, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And this one guy named Felix keeps calling into this guy's show. And he's talking about, we need more guys like Ted Bundy and like this serial killer, the Chopper. And, these guys are taking out these sorry ass bitches and they need to go and all this kind of stuff. And, getting rid of these useless women. They're just taking up space and taking up oxygen and all this kind of stuff. And the guy's like, yeah, Felix, I agree with you and blah, blah, blah. And so he gets a picture. It's supposed to be like a gift from a fan. He gets a picture It's a picture of him, and it's like him, posed in front of an American flag and all this kind of stuff, and he's happy with it. So he gets home and he takes the picture out of the box, and he realizes now it's a picture of him wearing a dress. He's dressed up as a woman. And so, of course, he's upset by this. He's like, what the? So he turns around, he throws the picture in the trash, and then he goes and so he goes and he takes a shower and he gets out, and then all of a sudden he starts transforming into a woman. He starts growing long blonde hair. He starts, growing breasts, everything else, and he transforms into a woman. So he's running out. He's looking for help and everything, and then he runs into a guy and he's like, "Please help me," and everything else. And at this point, he's pretty much completely changed, full fledged into a woman. And then the Samaritan stops, is like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need help?" And all this kind of stuff. Well, let me help you and everything. But then it turns out that yeah, it goes in a pretty bad direction, and we'll leave it at that. And we're pretty much now on the final story, which is called "Thy Will Be Done." And in this story, you have a young woman who she's not happy about it, but she's in an abortion clinic. She's going to get an abortion, and she's leaving the abortion clinic, and she gets abducted by two men and a woman. And she's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" and all this kind of stuff. And it turns out these are pro-lifers, and that they know that she's getting ready to get an abortion. And so they're like, "You can't abort this baby. It's a life and everything." And she's like, "You don't understand." The girl, she's like, "You don't understand. I got raped, and this person did horrible things to me and everything else. And I can't have this baby. You got to understand that this is not going to end well. You got to let me, you have to let me abort this baby." But of course they're like, "No, no, no. Jesus loves you, and Jesus loves your baby and all this kind of stuff. And you need to carry this baby to full term and everything. And so, come on, you're going to have the baby." So of course she's like trying to get away from them, and she's trying to, you know, um, she's trying to do like all kinds of tactics and things so she could try to escape from them. You know, they keep her abducted for pretty much the whole period of time that she's pregnant, and, the 9 months and everything. And then about when when the baby comes, let's just say she was right. It does not end well for anybody. And then, we have our wrap up at the end where, of course, it's, you got the ending, and, you know, yeah, like we find out that, our two pervert hackers, Jamal and Stewart, they kind of get their just desserts as well. So, but, and it does lead up, there is a buildup that there could be sequels to this. And honestly, I really hope that there are, because this movie is really good. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's pretty brisk pace too. It's like it has 7 stories with the 8, including the wraparound, but the movie flies by at a very brisk pace. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. It keeps, it goes through, and you get your stories willy-nilly. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this, especially if you're a fan of Tales from the Hood. And like I said, I think that Rusty and Darin, these two guys, they do an amazing job of blending the social commentary with the horror. And I mean, as much as I like Get Out, I'm sorry, but just in my opinion, these guys are the best ones at really blending horror and social commentary together. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend this. If you love, if you're in the mood for a good horror anthology, if you're in the mood for horror mixed with some social commentary, and if you just want to see Danny Trejo be cool, be Danny Trejo cool, then yeah, you're gonna love this movie, and I can't recommend it enough. So I would definitely say if you get a chance, check this out. You won't be disappointed. So anyway, so that's pretty much about it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer. We have different guys. Everybody's doing different stuff, and a lot of fun. We got more theme weeks coming up, label weeks, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah. So thanks again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.